I mean, as consultants going into organisations on a daily basis, when you're tuned into the use of VoicePrint, when you're tuned into what it's doing, you can fairly easily gauge the culture of a business from the types of conversation that are being had. So typically we will look in at something like the tiered management process, so daily meetings, daily huddles, that kind of stuff. And I can definitely look into one of those meetings and go, oh, okay, this is an organisation who likes to ask lots of questions, but they don't like to challenge. So you fairly well know we'll talk about things for ages and we'll ask lots of questions, but actually nothing will ever happen. So we get that kind of everything just grinds to a halt. Versus then in similar kind of meetings where everybody's challenging and directing and all that kind of stuff, but actually not very many questions are being asked, where you kind of go, okay, we've got almost a directive kind of culture here, and the lack of questions is stopping people think. And you can hear that when you you can hear that when you go into those kind of meetings almost immediately. So you start to be able to ask those questions or make those observations that says, okay, if we were to do a bit more of X or Y, what might be the impact that we have on the culture? So and to senior leaders, do you recognise that this is happening at the at the frontline kind of level? Let's just have a look at what's actually happening at your level, because it's likely that these things are happening here because actually those are the kind of things that we're demanding at a leader level. And then a simple question, what do you want it to be? So do you recognise it, and what do you want it to be? So it starts that kind of that dialogue, and then often we introduce the kind of self-perception and then the 360 for them. So we may start at a very broad and generic level when we're intervening at a frontline level and come up, or we may start right at the top and have the conversation right at the front. What are you trying to create? What's the biggest problem that you've got in the organisation that you want to start to unpick? And then we'll follow through with something like VoicePrint and other interventions that go with it to unravel what that really looks like in practice. What's the culture you're trying to create, and are we having the right conversations in order to enable that culture? I think that's the key with this.